She had been acting off, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in those quiet, unsettling shifts you can only notice when you know someone deeply. She smiled at her phone a little too often, chuckled at texts she wouldn't share, and locked her screen whenever I got near something she'd never bothered with before. Then came the talk about New Year's Eve. She said her best friend Cassie was hosting a girls-only rooftop party downtown. When I casually asked if I could come along, half joking, half curious, she laughed in that way that made me feel stupid for even asking. "It's just for us girls, babe," she said, brushing my arm. "You wouldn't have fun anyway." I didn't push. I let it go, because I trusted her, or maybe I wanted to believe I still could. But all week long, her vibe was different, aloof, distracted, like her body was here, but her mind had already walked out the door. The night of the party, she got dressed like she was attending a celebrity gala. Her hair was styled in perfect waves, her heels shimmered with glitter, and the dress tight, black backless clung to her like it was made for someone else entirely. I told her she looked beautiful. She smiled, but there was no warmth behind it, just muscle memory. "Don't wait up," she said, kissing my cheek with practiced ease, then grabbed her clutch and disappeared into the night. That's when the unease in my gut tipped into action. I pulled the drone from the top shelf of the closet. It had always been a hobby thing, sunset landscapes, neighborhood flyovers, nothing serious. But tonight, it had a new job. She'd said the party was at Cassie's building, which was only a few blocks away, a tall, modern apartment complex with a rooftop known for its skyline views. Just before midnight, I launched the drone into the winter air. My hands trembled slightly, not from the cold, but from the storm building in my chest. Part of me hoped I'd find nothing, that my suspicion was just that, suspicion. But deep down, something told me I already knew. The drone hovered over the rooftop. The image came into focus, people everywhere, not just women, at least 30 guests, men and women. Music thumping through the air like a pulse, champagne glasses, flashing lights, laughter carried by the wind. My eyes scanned every face, every shadow, hunting for the one I already feared to see. And then I saw her. My wife, dancing. Not with Cassie, not with a group of girlfriends, but with a man I had never seen before. Tall, broad-shouldered, too familiar. With her body, his hands were on her hips, hers were wrapped around his neck. They moved together like a couple who knew each other intimately, who didn't care who was watching. They weren't just dancing, they were orbiting each other. And then the countdown began, 10 seconds to midnight. As the crowd shouted Happy New Year, she turned to him. He leaned in, and they kissed. Not a quick, tipsy peck. A long, slow, deliberate kiss. Her fingers curled around the back of his neck. His hands slid lower on her back. It lasted several seconds, and I felt every one of them like a nail driven into my chest. I hit record. By the time I brought the drone back, I was trembling. I sat alone in the living room, staring at nothing, playing that moment over and over in my head. I didn't call her. I didn't blow up her phone. I didn't crash the party or demand answers. I waited. At 2:08 a.m., the front door opened. She came in quietly, heels in hand, makeup slightly smudged, her breath carrying the scent of cheap champagne and something else I couldn't name. She glanced at me sitting there on the couch. "You're still up?" she asked casually, like she hadn't just shattered our life a few hours earlier. "Yeah," I said, pretending to yawn. "Couldn't sleep." She smiled, set down her purse. "It was fun, just dancing, talking, girl stuff." "You know," I nodded slowly. "Sounds nice. I'm glad you had fun." She went to the shower. I remained still, eyes fixed on the wall. The sound of water running upstairs doing little to wash the image from my mind. The next morning, I made breakfast like everything was normal. She laughed and kissed my cheek, playing the role perfectly, convinced I was none the wiser. And I let her believe that. For a week, I played the part. I was sweet, attentive, quiet. She thought she had me wrapped around her finger. Then, one morning, I sent her a message. No text, no explanation. Just the video, a high-resolution, unedited clip of her in her glittering heels and tight dress, kissing a stranger like I didn't exist. The betrayal, captured from above, perfectly framed by fireworks in the sky. She didn't reply immediately, but within the hour, she came home from work, pale, shaking. I watched her step into the living room like someone walking into their own trial. I can explain. She began, her voice cracking. I didn't say a word. You had no right to spy on me. She finally snapped, trying to pivot, to deflect, and you had no right to lie to my face. I replied calmly. You told me it was a girls-only party. I didn't plan it, she whispered, eyes darting. It just happened. Things don't just happen, I said, my voice low and cold. You made a choice. She broke then, tears streamed down her cheeks. She begged, swore it meant nothing, pleaded for forgiveness like the kiss had been an accident, like everything she did wasn't deliberate. But I had already felt at the moment something inside me cracked. The instant I knew I'd never look at her the same way again. No matter how many apologies she gave, no matter how many tears she shed, I couldn't unsee that kiss. I couldn't forget the laughter on her face as she held that man. I couldn't erase the echo of "Don't wait up." By the end of that week, I had filed for separation. She moved out the next month. Her texts still come sometimes, soft and nostalgic, begging for a second chance. I don't respond. Not because I hate her, but because I finally see the truth. The drone didn't just catch her betrayal. It gave me clarity. I deserved truth. I deserved loyalty. I deserved love that didn't hide behind locked phones and glittery lies. She gave me none of that, only betrayal wrapped in lipstick and champagne.